Hello, my name is Samara Patterson. I'm a white woman with long brown hair wearing a dark blue shirt. My research project focuses on two types of interpreting students: heritage language learners, or people who learn ASL from their family members growing up, and ASL second language learners, or people who are newer to the language, focusing on their success throughout their interpreting program. Most interpreter training programs all around the United States have heritage language learners and second language learners together in the same classroom, learning the exact same material from the same professors, even though their upbringing with the language is very different. Heritage language learners grow up immersed in ASL, while second language learners are still being exposed to the language. Interpreter training program curriculums are designed to fit the needs of second language learners, helping them develop their new skills and navigating them through their first times interpreting, while heritage language learners have experience using ASL in a variety of settings, conversationally, intimately, and they might already have some interpreting life experience. There is other literature that recognizes that heritage language learners have different skill sets from second language learners. This does not mean that heritage learners are more skilled, they're simply different. This is because of the differing levels of language exposure. So from this information, placing heritage learners and second language learners in the same track in an ITP may not be the best educational method for success. Heritage language learners have a familial connection with ASL. These students learn the language from seeing their parents or grandparents use it around the home. They may be involved with the deaf community, and they may already have those ASL skills. Perhaps those heritage learner children were recognized as language mediators growing up, and thus they may have beginner interpreting experience already. Second language learners may be learning ASL as their second, third, or even fourth language. For this research, it's important to understand that most interpreter training program students are learning ASL as their second modality, meaning they already know a spoken language, but it's their first time using their hands to communicate. This incredibly impacts their receptive and expressive accuracy, and teaching methods must be modified in order to be effective, which is why interpreter training programs may be more catered to this majority. Other research in this area have gaps in comparative studies. Other articles typically focus on one area of an issue, whether it's only heritage learners and their skills or only second language learners and their skills. My research question focuses on both heritage and second language interpreting students, their receptive and expressive skills, and the aim is to evaluate, analyze, and ultimately modify how they are educated. My research question is, what is the relationship between childhood ASL immersion and language skill among heritage and second language learner interpreting students? So, how will we test this question? We must compare our two subgroups. All fourth-year interpreting students at RIT will be recruited for this study. And obviously, we will include both heritage language learners and second language learner students. First, we must know our participants' backgrounds. A survey asking for the demographics such as gender, race, and ASL exposure growing up will be given. Then we will give the participants a self-report survey where they will report where they feel their ASL skills fall on a range from fluent to beginner. Next, we will begin a quantitative experiment using our main method of evaluating expressive skills, the sign language proficiency interview. A deaf evaluator will conduct a conversational interview with the participant and will evaluate their skills based on a list of criteria. Lastly, we will use the ASL discrimination test, which will be used to evaluate whether participants can recept and distinguish signs in a phonology-based test. The hope for this study is that it will help identify disparities among student skill levels, but also similarities as well. Once these are identified, heritage language and second language learners will be able to support each other throughout their program in early careers. If we're able to identify the different skills among the groups, educators can use that information to modify their teaching methods and curriculums to best fit the needs of both groups. This should help educators understand that everyone's needs are different, even if someone already has a solid foundation of skill, depending on their exposure to language. For the future, students who will soon graduate and enter the interpreting field will be able to understand each other's needs, no matter if they're a heritage language or second language learner. In the case that these two groups are team interpreting together, they would be able to understand each other's skills and backgrounds to help each other create a better team. Thank you.